Truth be told, I have very little faith in Dead Island 2. It's a game that has risen from development hell that's transitioned developers twice. A sequel to a poorly received game by both critics and audience, with the cherry on top being that the zombie genre officially died when a Sony first-party studio failed at it. After analysing the marketing of Dead Island 2, I sense a common theme. This game is all about the gore. On the one hand, that's exciting because I'm always looking for more brutalist, violent games. Preferably ones that use violence to tell a story, but I'll take what I can get. On the other hand, the last game to promise gore as a selling point was the Callisto Protocol, and that game got its metaphorical head bitten off, so I steered clear of it. But Callisto Protocol was also trying to balance itself with a serious story in the way Dead Space was. The difference is that gore isn't the selling point of Dead Space, it's the bonus on top of the intense survival horror. Dead Island 2 looks not to be showing the pretense of caring about the story. The plot revolves around how you can't become a zombie despite infection, and I've got a sneaking suspicion that it's only there to justify the Z-powers, which leads to more gore. So to me, it looks like Dead Island 2 has placed its entire focus on gore, and is not bothering to be distracted by anything else. But we'll get to why that's a problem later, because I am dying to gush about this gore system. It looks absolutely fantastic. All the little chunks that fly off, how skin reacts to different weapons. Plenty of games offer gore, but the humongous advantage of Dead Island is that it's a first-person game. There's no shared screen space when you rip someone apart, it's the only thing you have to focus on. The Doom reboot also had a focus on gore, but what let those games down was the limited number of glory kill animations. It just stopped being satisfying to rip off a Baron of Hell's horn when I could do it to every single one of them. This is also something I can't quite confirm Dead Island 2 doesn't do. If there are only 1 or 2 pre-animated takedowns for each weapon type, that's going to get pretty boring. And if the gore is the priority like the marketing is communicating to me, then I don't think I have anything to worry about. Zombies are also the perfect target for a gore-focused game, as the necromorphs and demons are too alien to relate to. What I mean by that is that it doesn't matter how many legs you stab into the eyes when the audience can't feel that pain. That's why the best glory kill in Doom Eternal is this one, because theoretically that could happen to you. Zombies still have their human resemblance, so brutality on them will be perfect for putting that queasy feeling in the player's stomach. I also don't think there's been a game where the voice acting for the extras matters more. The screams from the zombies need to be guttural, wet, and convey pure agony, because the violence is just one part of the puzzle. You also need to have a reaction to the violence in order for it to feel impactful. Don't humanize the zombies in any way, because that just makes it disturbing. Just make sure that the violence looks like it could happen to the player without making them feel bad for inflicting it. My favourite idea they've come up with is this weapon crafting system that has been lovingly grave-robbed from Dead Rising. Specifically the elemental effects. I wonder how far they're going to go with it. Will it be as dull as status effects appearing above the health bar, or will I be able to see the blood literally boil if I kill them with electricity? Although acid, electricity, and fire feel like limited options, I suppose you are restrained by the real-world setting. If only someone would make the Army of Darkness hack and slash we deserve. I think my favourite moment in Dead Island 2 is going to be the moment after the battle. The second I'm done tearing jaw from skull and rib from cage. I want to be able to feel my blood settle down and see a macabre painting of carnage. I want to be able to retrace my steps through my frenzy and see how all the bodies I piled up pair with each other, something Doom cruelly robs you of by making the demons disappear after death. But no such system exists in Dead Island 2. The biggest flaw in this gore system that I can see is that there's an evening in the game which indicates a nighttime, which will ruin everything. It's like a big black sensor bar coming from the sky that will obscure all the beautiful mayhem. I want to see the California sun glistening off the crimson pools I leave on the sidewalk, not to have to peer around in the moonlight trying to make out all my glorious atrocities. And even though I've heavily praised the gore of Dead Island 2, it will be its undoing. I don't expect Dead Island 2 to be a good game, because they focus solely on the gore and nothing else. I imagine that the combat will be repetitive, and the story will be filled with characters that are presented as funny, but I'll have nothing but contempt for them. The world will be a stereotypical city with what looks like minimal environmental storytelling, with the gore being the only saving grace of this game. Dead Island 2 is finally crawling its way to the finish line, but so rotted will be its flesh that I think many will pass it by.